So welcome everyone. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Good evening, good afternoon, and namaste, adab, whoever has joined to watch the show. This is our seventh conference in a series which is on the farm laws which are happening and the farm protests which are happening in India. So our current and speaker for today is esteemed and respected attorney of the Supreme Court, Ashok Arora. Um, Attorney Ashok Arora, who is a practicing attorney at the Supreme Court of India. He graduated from Hindu College and later studied law at Campus Law Center, Delhi University. Ashok Arora is a former secretary of the Supreme Court Bar Association in India and a senior lawyer at the Supreme Court of India. He was the elected secretary of the Supreme Court Bar Association from 2001 to 2002, and then again 2002 to 2003, and was the elected the secretary of the New Delhi Bar Association from 89 to 1990, 93 to 94. Advocate Ashok Arora was elected Secretary of Supreme Court Bar Association SBA of India for the third time in December 12, 2019. He is also an author of articles, books, and a social activist, ex-law minister of India, and a former member of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Mr. Ram Jethmalani called him the Buddha of the 21st century. He has also been called a monk who sold his Ferrari in the real sense. He has had a career of over 40 years in the area of litigation, practice, teaching, motivation, personality development, stress management, and communication skills. Welcome, Mr. Ashok Arora, and thank you for being here, and we really appreciate your time. So without much further ado, the floor is yours, and we will have a Q&A at the very end after you finish your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Kavneet. Sat Sri Akal, Adab, good morning, Namaskar, Jai Hind to everybody. Kavneet, do we mix the language? We speak only in English or mix Hindi, English, Punjabi? What do you feel?
English would be the primary because our audience is in North America and not just our own audience, but the general audience. This is the video. These videos are for the general audience.
Good. You told me so that accordingly, I always feel that the language communication skill. When I talk about this, I say the best communication skill formula is in which the other person is comfortable and you can speak. Of course, I mean, I can't speak Spanish if other person is Spanish, but if I can speak some language which the other person is comfortable, so good. Thank you for telling me this. Kavneet, this has been matter of concern for all of us for many months now. For more than 4 months, we know that farmers have been agitating. I have no inhibition saying, as a lawyer, I know my responsibility and duties also, that these 3 laws, I mean, I challenge any parliamentarian to prove me wrong. My firm view is that these 3 laws are black laws. Enacting these laws without inhibition, I say, was fraud on nation, was fraud to humanity, and above all, fraud to farmers. For the simple reason, in one word, one can understand, the parliament had no business, no authority to pass law on a state subject. Agriculture is a state subject as per Indian constitution. And that is right also because the state would know what is the condition of the soil, what is the condition of local farmers, what are the local conditions. So therefore, the wise men constituting the law, they thought that agriculture should be a state subject. So therefore, I say at the outset that it was a fraud on nation which the parliamentarians did. Again, another flaw was that you all know that in Rajya Sabha, even if one person asks for voting, there has to be voting. There was no voting. It was passed by voice vote, which again was a fraud. Unfortunately, neither the government of India nor the Supreme Court has been mindful of this, that those who grow for us, I remember I was a 16-year-old boy when somebody recited that couplet of Allama Iqbal, great Allama Iqbal poet, which actually meant that I'll recite it later. First, let me explain the meaning. The meaning basically is that if farmer is committing suicide, nobody has any right to over that crop, over that grain. And the Shire says, जिस खेत से दहका को मयसर ना हो रोजी, उस खेत के हर खोशाए गंदुम को जला दो. He says nobody has any right. So I mean, as a criminal lawyer, normally you don't advise people to confess, but I am making a confession before my friends that I have been obsessed with this couplet ever since I entered Hindu college at the age of 16, and now almost 50 years. It has become part of me. And many of my friends, when they talk, and when I talked to Kamneet the other day, he was concerned, many other all over the world. In fact, I'll request Kamneet to share that YouTube message which I sent to the Prime Minister of India, that why these laws should be either scrapped or at least you stay it for 30 months. The condition I also feel is very sad because, for 4.5 months they are sitting there agitating, and prima facie, these laws are total fraud and black law. Still, nobody has listened to them. Therefore, I advise the Prime Minister that best course is that you repeal these acts. In fact, I advised him that you go and say sorry to and touch feet of the senior most women sitting there, like your own mother, 85, 87-year-old people are sitting there, and repeal these acts. Second option I said was to repeal the most difficult draconian law, which you say is empowerment of farmers, but that is making farmers slaves, and stay the other two acts. And the third option, which I thought was most reasonable and doable for both the sides, I very clearly told him that if there is any ego, they say, you can all analyze these, friends. The government says that we are ready to stay it for 18 months. If you can stay it for 18 months, where is the difficulty in quashing it, repealing it? You can bring the law again after 18 months or 16 months. At least let them, request them that please, brothers and sisters, you go home, live peacefully in this scorching heat they are sitting there. So total compassion, is missing, which is very sad commentary of evolvement of human being. It is lack of evolvement of human being that you're not bothered. As Prime Minister, as government, as Supreme Court, you're not bothered that people are sitting there. The law, the independence, where is the independence? And it reminds me of Bhagat Singh, the great statesman. Some people call him revolutionary. He was surely a revolutionary, but more than revolutionary, he was a statesman. He was intellectual giant. He saw it 16 years before independence, because 31 he was hanged. If 1931 he was hanged, as a 23-year-old boy, he could visualize, which many of the so-called statesmen, I say, sitting together, Mahatma Gandhi, Pandit Nehru, Sardar Patel, Jinnah, all sitting together could not visualize even 16 years after Bhagat Singh was hanged. He told them that time that this independence would be of no use. Till you stop exploitation of man by man, independence is of no use. And that is what is happening today. Exploitation of farmers. So shameless. My heart bleeds. Anybody's heart is bleeding. What is this happening? And every year, thousands of farmers commit suicide for last so many decades. And nothing is happening. And frankly, I'm not the one who would blame the present Prime Minister or the present government only. It has been happening since ages. What happened when we had one of the finest, I call him one of the finest human being, one of the finest economist, one of the finest gentlemen, He was Prime Minister of India for 10 years. And still nothing happened for farmers. Why? So that means it is not on agenda of anybody. They feel farmer is not useful for our election purposes. Recently, you all know, I mean, one good step they did, this government, is the direct payment to farmers. My view is it is a good point. I mean, people have their opinion. I'm just expressing my opinion and I'm open to change if somebody convinces me on that. But my view is it is right. Of course, there are some teething problems. They say if the land is being cultivated by somebody and it is not in his name, then there is a problem. So it is okay. There are some teething problems that could be resolved. But farmer, these acts would make them service providers. Imagine. Farmer would not be your annadata, one who gives you grain. Farmer after these acts would be a service provider. He would be laborer on his own land. That is why I say this is total black law. In Punjabi we say dal mein kala nahi hai, dal hi kali hai. That's total black. It's not that there is something fishy. The total law is a fraud. Therefore, I thought, and in fact, I even offered that I would sit on fast unto death if farmers, leaders, they decide that yes, this would help. Because I learned from Bhagat Singh when he said that I know my life can be saved, but I also know my death would be more useful than my life. Imagine 23-year-old boy talking this. And why is it happening? This is also important to understand. Why many people are totally silent or totally heartless? When many are even blaming farmers for 26, whatever happened on 26. Nobody can approve whatever happened on 26. But how can you blame farmers for that? If somebody has done some mischief at Red Fort, I mean, the minister should resign or the commissioner police should resign. It is failure of your security forces. Either you were mixed up or you were casual, careless. Why should you blame farmers? This I say is dirty politics. Just to defame farmers, you have allowed this to happen, and now you are asking everybody, is it good to have, is it good? Can you approve this? I mean, many people, they ask me. I said, question is not this. What happened on 26th is not the moot point. Not at all. Nobody is approving this. You take action, whosoever has done wrong. But question is this fraud on people, fraud on farmers, fraud on humanity, should it be perpetuated or should it be stopped? That is the simple question. And if Parliament could not enact a law, should this not be repealed or at least stayed? The best option I said, give is okay if you have any ego hassle. In Punjabi we say ahankar. If you have that ahankar that okay, I'll not quash, don't quash it, okay. Stay it for 30 months. If it is stayed for 30 months, by that time next election would be due. So nobody would play any mischief. At the same time, in these 30 months, you can consult people. Have deliberations, proper deliberations from all over the world with all the stakeholders. Is it not a shame? I'm not the person who would only praise my country. I would surely say what is wrong and what is against humanity. Is it not against humanity, I ask myself, and to the government, and to those who govern, that in America, a farmer gets 5.4 lakhs per year per farmer. In Canada, they get 5.6 lakhs per farmer. And in India, shamelessly, a farmer is given just 3,600 rupees. Imagine. This is how you respect your farmer. And as they say, proof of pudding is in its eating. 4.5 months they are sitting there. 4.5 months. Not bother. Ignoring. How can they be that heartless? How can they be heartless? As the poet Shair says, because I use poetry and shairi because what I experience and what my study of human psychology says, that a philosopher may say or talk 4 hours on a subject and it may not impress or it may not have any impact. But what the poet says in 2 lines, it enters our system. It becomes part of us. Therefore, I use few couplets every time whenever I feel there is an occasion. Rather, I look for an occasion, I must confess. Poet says that those who govern, those who matter, they should have golden heart. That anywhere, pain anywhere should hurt them. Pain anywhere should hurt them. Shair says, खंजर कहीं चले तो तड़पता है दिल अमीर और सारे जहां का दर्द हमारे जिगर में है. He says, pain anywhere hurts me. That is how one should govern, like Abraham Lincoln. In fact, I don't see any statesman after Abraham Lincoln. And the tragedy is, if you ask me why this is happening, this farmer issue is not in isolation. This farmer issue is connected with other miseries in the world. Millions going to bed empty stomach. Millions not having access to primary health and primary education. Women anemic. Children being abused all over the world. Youth, even in the advanced countries, are suffering from mental or physical ailment, majority of them. This is all connected, I say. Farmer issue is not. And the reason is we have not followed what great statesman Abraham Lincoln said. You all know, Lincoln wrote to the master of his son that letter. Imagine 150 years back, he was a statesman. He said, this is how should the country be governed. The next generation should grow. Where he says, make him a good human being. Make him a good human being. We have to develop children who can enjoy chirping of bird, flow of river, sunset, music, compassion, love, humanity, which is lacking. And I think Oscar Wilde was right when he said, nothing worth learning can be taught. So physics, chemistry, bio, I have great respect for those teachers, can be taught. But these values, compassion, giving that heart, unless that is there, nobody can do justice. People swear and people take oath when they become doctor, lawyer, engineer, parliamentarians, judge. But my firm view is just by taking oath, you are not changed overnight. No, not at all, not at all. That personality, the inbuilt grain, it would change only with what is said in most of the scriptures, and best said by Kabir, Sant Kabir, ढाई आखर प्रेम के पढ़े 100 पंडित होए, कि only those who love can be intellectual, can be statesmen. Books would not make any person statesman. Knowledge is good, of course knowledge is good. That is what great Guru Nanak Dev Ji said. Jin prem kiyo tin hi Prabhu payo. This Prabhu, he means that wisdom, statesman, only one who loves, genuine love for all, and love for all. Love not only for me and mine, my girlfriend, boyfriend, my spouse, my children. No, no, not at all. Even animal does that. So what is the difference? What Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying, what Kabir is saying, they are talking of that love for humanity, for universe, for nature. Only somebody with that pure heart can govern successfully. Otherwise, you have seen all countries. I need not name any particular country. Those who govern, if they were not passionate, if they were not loving, if they were not decent, sometimes they are indecent, they are crude. My hint is very clear. Sometimes you feel leader is a crude. How can he govern if he's so crude? He has no manners. I remember when Kavneet talked to me, I said it was love at first sight. I mean, the language he was using, he was so loving. I mean, first time also, I never felt that I was talking to him for the first time. I thought maybe we are childhood friends. So now we are together, doing something good. That is why they said, if you love, jin prem kiyo tin hi prabhu payo, means only when you love each other, you would sit together and discuss things. And if you love each other and discuss together, you would always discuss something good for the society. Only criminals discuss something against the society because they are forced to. They have nothing else to do. They have not been trained. That also is fault of society, not theirs. They have not been given that education, those circumstances to grow nicely. And they can't handle. Some people can't handle hunger and lack of facilities. So they commit crime. So most of the crimes are against the state, but state is the reason. State has not taken good care of their children. That's why this problem. So therefore, friends, I say this farmers' agitation is not in isolation. It's a sad commentary of evolvement, of lack of evolvement of human being. Lack of evolvement of training mind and soul, I say. I always believe that purer the soul, quieter the mind, sharper the intellect. If soul is pure, I'm not entering any religion. I'm talking of purity. If intentions are good, mind would be quiet, peaceful. If mind is peaceful, it would be sharp. Intellect would be sharp. You would think of the solution immediately. Like they say, I mean, I firmly believe in that. I mean, anybody studying any professional degree or course cannot do justice, complete justice, I say, unless soul is pure. These are all helping tools. One doctor after studying is doing a lot of justice, serving humanity. One doctor is selling kidney. One lawyer after studying law is helping system. One lawyer is opposing justice. One engineer is helping system. I'm sorry, other engineer is helping just the government. Okay, you tell me whatever design you want, whatever price you say, I'll mention. So ultimately, as Gandhi said, use your profession as a tool to serve. Education is same. But how do I use that education for helping humanity would come only from my sanskara, as we say. What I have learnt in life, what I have imbibed from parents, from scriptures, from nature, from philosophers. It depends upon nature of a man. So I am very clear. I mean, it's 5 minutes job, 2 minutes job. You can resolve quickly. And I'm sorry, at one point I wish to say I'm very clear. Maybe farmers' leadership also has not played mature. They could have availed this opportunity when they were saying that we'll stay it for 18 months. They should have bargained that, okay, not 18 months, 20 months, 24 months, 30 months. Or okay, 18 months we go home. give us MSP. Now they are giving direct payment to farmers. That is good. I mean, that's to start agitation is very easy. I mean, shedding modesty, I say I've been part of many agitations of lawyers, which went on for months and months. But then somebody has to sacrifice or take firm decision. To incite and start agitation is very easy, but to resolve as a statesman is very, very difficult at times. You are stuck. That is why the poet says that it is very easy. Let me first explain so that those who understand language may enjoy it better. He says it is very easy to make somebody drunk, but it is very difficult to balance somebody or bring sense to somebody who is drunk. Bring sense to somebody who is drunk is the real challenge. नशा पिला के गिराना तो सबको आता है, मजा तो तब है कि गिरते को थाम ले साकी. It's very difficult if you can bring sense to a drunkard man. So when the agitation is at peak, it's very difficult to give some reasoning, good reasoning that, okay, you do that. So I firmly believe this can be resolved. We should all work together. I also, in fact, request all my friends that we should use all our good offices, tell farmers, leaders, and also the government that resolve it gracefully, give them, provide them minimum support price, give them more subsidies, give a sort of undertaking that, okay, next 24 months, 30 months, it would not be implemented, and let them live with dignity. It's very sad that those who govern are not thinking. Even Supreme Court is not thinking without inhibition, I say, how to provide a dignified life to a farmer. I mean, one who is growing for me is sitting there. Our constitution, you all know, talks of dignity. Every constitution talks of dignity. First page of preamble talks of dignity. Fraternity. Where is fraternity? You're not bothered about your own Annadata, one who is growing for you, and you talk of fraternity. Is it fraternity? Is it bhaichara? Is it universal love we talk of? And I'm surprised, I'm sorry to say, even UNO has failed. Many instances I've seen where UNO has proved totally worthless, I'm sorry to say. Why UNO is not taking any call on this? Why strong nations are not taking any call on this? If humanity is suffering, it is no more internal matter of any state, I say. Humanity is not restricted to boundaries. Humanity is universal. That is why UNO was constituted, thought of. I mean, the strong countries can go to Afghanistan, can take care of Taliban, can enter Iraq, Iran, Syria. Is it less serious? I'm asking myself, I am challenging those countries, strong countries. It is not statesmanship that you remain silent. Strong is who can take care of humanity. One who cannot take care of humanity, Vivekananda said, he is a traitor. One of the greatest saint, leader, spiritual leader of the world, Swami Vivekananda, who more than 100 years back could impress thousands of people all over the world. He said, those who earn from society, learn from society, If they can't take care of the weak, they are traitors, he said. He says only those who live for others are alive, rest are more dead than alive. So this is a question to be asked from each strong man and woman, each strong nation who feel we are strongest, we are well off, we are happiest. And those who say we are happiest, why are not they speaking? Why they are not speaking? I appeal to 10 top happiest countries. Make an appeal. Make an appeal to Indian government, to Indian Supreme Court, that what are you doing? Otherwise your rating as happiest nation, I would not give it a great credence. No. If you are happy sitting at home in your own constituency, geographical, I don't feel you are happiest. No. Happy is who is thinking of everybody. That rating, I am sorry, is bogus then. If you can't think of somebody sitting 4.5 months you're not happy. You're a coward. He says they are traitors, they're cowards. As a priest said that they are pseudo-intellectuals. Pseudo-intellectuals. As Socrates asked them, shook them up. Imagine 2,500 years back. The great man said, where are those lawyers? I'm a Kabir fan. So Kabir says, Bura jo dekhan main chala to bura na milya koye. Jo dil khoja apna to mujhse bura na koye. Kabir says, first you look within. I say, yes, my class of lawyers also has failed farmers. Otherwise, a few hundred lawyers in any city for that matter, not only in Supreme Court, if they had gathered or started fast with them, situation would have been different. So therefore, first I blame my community, myself. They failed nation, they failed humanity, and they failed farmers, their own annadatas, those who grow for them. That is why Socrates said 2,500 years back, imagine, that where are those lawyers, he said. He's asking questions from lawyers. Where are those lawyers who boast of their oratory but have done very little for underprivileged? So thank you, Kavneet. I don't know, I get emotional when it comes to farmers. We can take a couple of questions, and Kavneet, I'll request you if you can circulate or put on your website my email address also. I must share that we have a Supreme Court Lawyers Conference where we do a lot of free legal aid work. Many of our friends, free legal aid for those who cannot afford lawyers, providing counseling to parents, to matrimonial couples, or even teaching different subjects to those who cannot afford tuitions or tutors. And my email is very simple, ashokaroda2310@gmail.com. Kavneet, if you wish, you can circulate also. And we can take a couple of questions, Kavneet. I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry if I get emotional at times. And at times I'm rude, I don't know. But anyway, we can take a couple of questions if you have.
Thank you, Mr. Arora. That was excellent. And you're right on time, exactly 35 minutes. So really appreciate you doing your talk within the time. We have ample time. We've got 25 minutes. So we'll take questions from the audience. And since we don't have a very large audience, please raise your hand and we'll take questions so that people can ask them themselves. Please unmute. Sorry, Nandipal Singh, just unmute. Go ahead.
Before I ask my two questions, I would like to say our condolences to the victims of Indianapolis shooting. Y Group, we pray Y Group bless their victims' souls and the families who have lost their dear ones. Mr. Arora, I have a twofold question. It's not directly related to the farmers, but indirectly related to the society in India. First question is, Mr. Sidhu was released about yesterday, a day before yesterday, from the prison with the bail on it, and immediately he was arrested. Is this philosophy of the government to make sure that farmers are weakened because of this approach?
No, sorry, Narendraji, please say it again. You say he was released and immediately arrested?
Yes,
He's talking about Deep Sidhu.
Deep Sidhu.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
you say he was released and arrested?
Yes.
You mean arrested for some other offense?
Well, related to that issue.
Oh, that's very sad. Sorry, sitting in India, I could not get that information, but that's very sad. Because if he's released, and if you had something, you should have brought it to the notice of the court while he was in prison. Not that when he's released, then you are bringing up that. I think that he can challenge it. He would surely challenge it and should succeed. I feel that this. I mean, I am not aware of the charges, but I'm very sure that if something was there in your bag, I mean, you should have disclosed it before he was released. This is totally unfair.
My information is based on the Facebook statement given by the chairman of Delhi Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee.
So I'll also find out. Thank you very much for telling me. This is unfair. We'll see to this that justice is done. Irrespective, whatever he has done, everybody needs justice, deserves justice.
And my second related question is, I don't know how far that statement is true, that some of the yogis from Yogi clan in UP, they are making statements that we need to eliminate Muslims in the country. And is this based on the Manu mythology that we are going to have Manu law, Brahmins and Shudras will be treated as Shudras? Is this the philosophy of Modi government eventually?
No, sorry, Narendraji, I am not aware of the philosophy of Modi government, but I am very clear that whosoever, whether Yogi or Modi or anybody else, whosoever tries to divide people on the basis of religion, as one philosopher like you rightly said, that anybody who criticizes any religion, that means he has not understood his own religion. See, what a profound statement. Like Nanak ji said, he was with Mardana. I mean, the real statesmanship is when everybody is feeling safe. Rather, the great philosopher says that the maturity of democracy can be judged from the way the minorities that country are dealt with. Not majority. He says the way minorities feel is the maturity of that democracy. So if democracy is to survive, minorities are to be first taken care of. It's very essential. And whosoever talks this should be taken to court and should be punished. I mean, you know, that is an offense. If you try to spread hatred on the basis of religion, this is an offense, and anybody saying this should be punished, should be brought to books. I am very clear on that. मजहब नहीं सिखाता आपस में बैर रखना. What a beautiful line he wrote. Religion doesn't teach us to divide people. Religion is when you unite people, like Guru Nanak Dev united people, Bala and Mardana. Everybody, all Hindus, they love Guru Nanak. Why? Because he talked of love only. He talked of only love.
Thank you, sir, Nandra Singh ji, and thank you, sir. The next question is from Sukhchinder Singh ji, and his question is, with the land holdings getting divided into smaller units with each passing generation, there has to be a plan for transitioning to a reasonable way to make a living. Is there a discussion possible for pathways to consider this? Of course, the farmers should have a say in formulating this plan and not just done to benefit big business.
Thank you, Kavneet. Thank you for this question. In fact, at the cost of repetition, I say one of my talks, one of my messages sent to the Prime Minister, I talk about this, that we should form cooperatives, so that the farmers with small land holdings, they can form a committee or a group where instead of 5 members from 5 families, 2 members can work and rest of the 3 can work in different areas, say in service sector, manufacturing, or studying something, army, police, whatever, wherever they want to go. So this is a very valid suggestion. I think this is already being discussed. And I have given my own thoughts and ideas on this, that we can form cooperatives. And with that cooperative, we can club the lands and by rotation or whatever, as he rightly said, that farmers are to formulate what is the best way to deal with that. Maybe, they decide by rotation, each family would give time or 2 members would give time. They will get their own remuneration for working. And those who are qualified or want to qualify for other spheres of life, they can devote time there. It's a very valid suggestion, and I think it is talk of the town and may happen.
Thank you. We've got Dr. Kripal Singh, the former Vice Chancellor. He has a question.
Thanks, Ashok Arora ji, for excellent talk and for articulating the problem of not only the farmers, but other social, political problems. You are a very versatile person, not only a lawyer, but a philosopher, revolutionary, and I enjoyed your talk. How do you see the adamant attitude of the government? Will it soften or during the next few days, or are they going to be more strict in dealing with the peaceful agitation going on by the farmers? How do you foresee?
Before I answer the question, give me this liberty and I seek your permission. I must tell the audience that the gentleman asking question is my friend, philosopher and guide. In fact, he is my guru. He has been Vice Chancellor of Agriculture University. One of the finest scholar, I say one of the finest. I have seen many scholars, but one of the finest scholars and human being. Therefore, I was very nervous when he started asking question. I said, when teacher is asking question from the student, this would be very difficult to answer, but he has been very kind. And I think he knows my weaknesses and limitation. Therefore, he has asked very simple question. And I'm very clear, sir, my dear sir, you are my dear sir, sir also and my dear also. I respect you and admire you too. I feel that they are not only adamant, they are unreasonable. I won't even go to the extent of saying they are cruel. Kavneet, can you hear me?
Yeah, there's some disturbance. Someone seems to be talking in between. I've got everyone on mute.
Tell everybody to mute their mics and please.
They are on mute. Has it stopped now?
Yeah.
It stopped.
So thank you, sir. I was just thanking my senior, my guru, friend, philosopher, guide, Dr. Kripal Singh, and he is right. I feel that government is not only adamant, they are being cruel. I'll go to this extent, and at the same time, I would, they say, Kripal Sahab knows me, that I love to speak truth. हिम्मत से सच कहो तो बुरा मानते हैं लोग, और रो रो के बात कहने की आदत नहीं मुझे. I also feel I love to speak truth. That is what I recited in one line. I also feel that the farmers' leadership also has not acted mature at times. There was an occasion they could enter into a dialogue and resolve this issue. But I think this leadership is not as mature as they ought to have been. And Dr. Kripal would appreciate that I had recited couplet quite often. It's very difficult to give sense to somebody who is drunkard. So the farmer leadership also should take responsibility. And instead of 40 leaders, there should be 2, 3 to negotiate. This is not, I think, that's a weakness in farmer leadership. I mean, they're all good people, I know. I mean, they mean business. But at the same time, I think they should also take responsibility to resolve the issue. It is not only for government. I mean, sometimes you can corner the government. I mean, as a negotiator, as a good mediator, you can corner the other side to get justice. What Krishna did, he played tricks to get justice. So they should be seasoned enough to resolve. Not only government, I say, I think it is achievable. I mean, Dr. Kripal knows that I even offered to sit on fast unto death to demand the repeal, but I think they are not being very seasoned, I am sorry to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kindly mute Dr. Kripal Singh ji, if you could, please.
Yeah?
Could you just mute your on your side, please? Okay, thank you. Somebody else had a question? Please raise your hand.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Who is this?
Yeah, I'm Amran from the US. I'm a youth and I had a question for
Sure.
Mr. Ashok sir. So what can the foreign governments do? So what specific steps should they take to address the human rights concerns happening in the protest? Because I know the government is using water cannons and beating people. So what exactly can the foreign governments do to address this problem?
Thank you, Imran. You said something very close to my heart. I thank you very much. I mean, that's what, Imran, sometimes I feel at loss, you know. I mean, they can easily propagate there, talk about this, talk to the government, request the government, embarrass the government, I'll say. Embarrass the government by asking, why are you doing this? But problem you all know, that foreign government also, many foreign countries and other so-called democracies, they are not democracies. Many democracies are just pseudo-democrat. You all know, many times the government feels that, oh, I am doing business with them. If I am to sell weapons, if I am to have a commercial deal with some government, my mind is working somewhere else. Why can't they say it is not internal? It is not, human right violation is not internal. It can never be internal. I mean, I can understand 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 4.5 months, and you're not even bothered. And the foreign governments, I challenge all those Democrats, all those who say we are civilized society are behaving uncivilized. I don't wish to name countries, but I think message is home. UNO, the main culprit. UNO is the main culprit for many of the human rights violations in the world. They remain silent. I don't know where are they looking. Which power do they obey? I mean, it's nothing, I mean, like conscience in their mind, those who govern. As great constitution maker, Dr. Ambedkar, Babasaheb Ambedkar said that the constitution would be as good as the people who would govern it. So constitution of all the governments would be as good as people who govern it. They talk of universal brotherhood, every government is talking of universal brotherhood. Is it brotherhood that one who is growing for me is sitting on the street for 4.5 months? So you're right, Amran. The best thing they can do is they embarrass, they ask them question at least, that why are you doing this? Which in a baby, you know, a 6th class student of social sciences can understand that it is not in your power, it is not state subject, however you enacted the law. But unfortunately, nobody is asking, and arrogance is governing. So I think the best way, I mean, anybody with what the conscience, you know, should ask any government, any president, any prime minister, any king, should ask Indian government, what are you doing? Why can't you take care of your own farmers, your own annadatas, those who go grow for you. I mean, at times, maybe I say farmer leadership also has failed somewhere. That doesn't mean that the government should fail. It is duty of the state. We are a welfare state. We are a welfare state. Even in a dictatorship, the king would, the monarch would look for the welfare of the people. And in a democracy, it is happening for 4.5 months. Nobody is bothered. Thank you, Imran. Thank you very much for this question.
Thank you, Ashokji. The next question is from Mohan.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Great speech by Arora ji. I don't know whether I can. My video is coming. So basically, that yeah, he's my son, and we went to Washington D.C. along with our Punjab and Haryana brothers and sisters. We were with them. We are from Tamil Nadu, and there was a meeting. I know that what you're saying, that the foreign government, when the foreign government start talking and they're saying, oh, it's none of your business, don't talk, and then and then immediately they not letting the media to know. Now the Kumbh Mela, Haridwar Kumbh Mela news video is fully covered, but the farmers not covered. The government is isolating, blocking the media so that the world didn't know. A lot of countries may not even know. If the government allow the media, then the world knows. Okay, this is 4.5 months. The people are fighting for their rights, and that was not allowed. The government is blocking every aspect. You are saying also that not all the people, 40 people should represent. If you represent 1 or 2, they isolate. They go IT raid. They do this. They arrest this. They come back in different block. So what I'm trying to say is, we had a meeting with Kathy Manning from North Carolina. She is a Foreign Affairs Committee. She's in the Foreign Affairs Committee. I think Amran gave a speech about the farmers, what are the problems, why the government is violating all the human rights. And then tomorrow also we are going to talk with one of the senators. He's a state senator, but he's the one arranged with Kathy Manning. She's a Foreign Affairs Committee in the current government, Biden government. And also the another congresswoman, even when we were explaining, and she said that she saw the news in New York Times. I think New York Times may be bold enough to express the issue. A lot of Indian media, I mean, all the Indian media not blocking it. So I just want to share that information, and thank you. Actually, I want to first thank, the whole Indian problem is now taken by, whole Indian farmers problem taken by Punjab and Haryana brothers and Uttar Pradesh some, and Tamil Nadu people, they did some, and then they have to continue, but they're not, now they're busy with the election and other stuff going on. So anyway, thank you very much, and hope very soon the farmers get some rights on there, so they get their fight resolved.
Thank you, Mohan.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mohan, I could not see you. You are right, but I could see your soul.
We can see a video, so I just make a comment.
That is what I'm saying. Even if I could not see you your physical appearance, but I could feel your good soul, pure soul. So I am enjoying that thought that you're such a good soul. And you're right. The media is not reporting. Media is not reporting because most of them, I mean, as the poet says, that my tongue is cut, I cannot speak, and my pen is sold, so I cannot write. The poet is saying this, Zuba mili to kati hui aur kalam mila to bika hua, which means my tongue is cut, I cannot speak, my pen is sold, I cannot write. So that is what he said for this corrupt media, but there is honest media also, there is social media also. And today we don't have to depend upon only on government media. Social media like Kavneet, everybody, they are doing good job. Dr. Kripal has been one of the greatest statesmen in agriculture field. We are getting all the information. So you are right, Mohan. I mean, we can definitely request our brothers and sisters in foreign countries to talk to their own governments and say and tell India firmly that it is not your internal issue. I mean, our citizens here are concerned. And I also, in fact, salute my NRI brothers and sisters. Many of them are more Indians than Indians staying here. I can see the pain in their hearts. When they talk to me, Mohan, I share with you, you are such a good soul. That is why I say I have not seen your physical appearance, but you are a good soul. Many of you, actual Mohan, you would be happy to know, actually cry means literally cry. When they talk to me, I'll send you those messages, Ashok, what is happening? Ashok, what is happening? Tell me, what can I do? Why can't this be resolved? Not one. Many of them are literally crying over phone when they talk to me or when they send messages. So people are good, surely. Every soul is potentially divine. But problem is, those who govern, many of them are cruel, insensitive.
Ashokji,
More commercial than honest, because they feel, okay, I don't have to spoil my deal with India on this point. So let the deal go to hell, but talk of humanity. First, talk of humanity. Your own citizens, those who have settled there, have adopted you as your country as their own country. If they are in pain, how can you ignore? So I'm very sure with people like Manmohan, Mohan and Kavneet and Kripalji, I mean, you can all create a lot of awareness and force governments to speak, start speaking. No, we Indians are settled in good 40 countries, and not why only Indians. Even foreign nationals, I know they are in pain, they discuss with me and they talk about this, what is happening. And impression, and not only in India, I say, whether it is Syria or Afghanistan, wherever, wherever there is injustice, and Martin Luther King said it so beautifully. He said, injustice anywhere would lead to injustice other places. So therefore, we have to do justice.
thank you, Ashokji.
Something, or should we wind up? Tell me.
No, we've got a couple of more questions before we wind up. So the next question is from Dr. Hakim, the criminal justice professor. Has the executive shown its incompetence by mishandling the farm protests? Has Modi government lost the battle for the farm laws, is the question.
Incompetence, Dr. Hakim, I am to be very careful with you. You are a professor and I was never a bright student. So first I must make this confession, Professor. You can guide me. But yes, my prima facie view is incompetence is writ large. Enacting a law which you were not empowered to enact itself is injustice, incompetence, total incompetence. That is not good governance. If you are committing, if Parliament is committing fraud, brother, you please appreciate I am being so firm and blunt on this. They're talking of incompetence. I said they committed fraud on nation. Parliament of India committed fraud on nation by enacting these laws. Where do you go? Where do you go? Very, Dr. Professor Hakim, I kindly take me your student if I am not that poor. But I share with you very nice couplet. You know, I talk more of couplets than of law, because even the law I interpret through couplets. And the poet says that if the father is killing children, who will help? Who will help? If the captain of ship is not helping, who would help? मझधार में नैया डोले तो माझी पार लगाए, माझी जो नाव डुबोए उसे कौन बचाए. The problem is those who were given this power to govern, to protect citizens, if they commit fraud, where do you go? And if Supreme Court is silent, where do you go? I seek your guidance, Professor. I'll request Kavneet to send me your contact number. If you're comfortable, I'll discuss with you sometime.
Thank you, Shokji. There are a couple of more questions, but before that, I have a couple of questions which touched on some of the things you mentioned. You mentioned two things in particular in your talk. One was that people should approach the UN, and UN has been, of course, pretty cowardly in their stance and has not stepped up. So my personal experience with the UN, I've been to the UN, and I know folks who are helping or trying to help and attempting very seriously to, this is in New York as well as in Geneva, to get some input from the UN to put across to the Indian government. And the Indian representatives who are stationed within these places, there's tremendous pushback. So the issue is not that we are not putting our effort. The issue is the Indian government's representatives. There's tremendous pushback within these offices, and so nothing is getting out. And number two, part of the question which you had again mentioned on, that you want the diaspora Indians to, in general, whether they come from whatever ethnic group, religious group, doesn't matter, that they should put their best foot forward. I think that is already happening in many ways, but be aware, which you as a lawyer should obviously know, that people are afraid in many ways, because when you protest against a country you left long time ago, maybe recently, people are genuinely afraid that their visas will be cancelled and much more, which is also happening. It's happened in the past. So how do you get around these two issues which you have touched on?
The number one, Kavneet, it's very clear that there would be pressure from the other side.
Right.
So if they are able to prevail, that means UNO has failed. I mean, no representative there. I mean, he is there. Kindly appreciate, Kavneet. Any representative of any country is there. See the double standard.
Right.
Is there to protest for human rights in other countries and there to protect. There to protect their own country. See this. If there is human right violation in Afghanistan, they will speak. If there is human right violation in India, he'll say, no, you are not getting the correct news. You are interfering.
That's right.
That is why I say, I at the cost of repetition, I say, Baba Ambedkar said that it would be as good as people would govern it. If the representative of any country has no conscience or has corrupt mind, he would talk only violation of human right in other countries and not in his own country. Because he is slave. At times, a representative is slave of his country. He is not human right expert. By qualification, he is human right expert. But by conscience, he is slave. Traitor, as Vivekananda is saying. So why can't you, if you are a representative in UNO for human rights, for UNO, not for your own country, just protect your own country's wrongdoings. And second, I say, I mean, this much, Kavneet, somebody has to be brave. I mean, if you think that if I speak, my visa would be cancelled, let them cancel. Then you should say that, okay, I reject you. I don't wish to come if you are behaving this manner. Cancel my visa. I would speak from here. If that is your nature, if that is your character, if that is your conscience, then you cancel my visa. I'll challenge it, but I would not bother you cancel my visa. I mean, we should have something bigger at stake. What is visa? What is visa? I share with you, I surrendered my green card a few years back. How does it matter? Because I knew I am to be here. So if I am to be here, why do I have green card? I surrendered, I came back. So visa, green card, all these things are, I mean, as Iqbal says, Guzarza akal ke aage ke noor, chirage raah hai, chirage manzil nahi hai. Which means all these positions, visa, all these are only instruments, not the ultimate destination. Ultimate destination is pure conscience, but Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying, Jin prem kiyo, prem with humanity, universal love for everything, every soul you can think of. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was talking. Love for every soul you can think of. Man or woman, plant or animal. then country would survive. Then we will have Chardi Kala.
Thank you, Ashok. Yeah, we've got two.
I'm sorry.
We've got 2 or 3 other questions, then we'll wrap up. The next question
Yeah.
is again from Sukhsinderjit Singh ji. And Modi will most likely back down only if the BJP starts losing state elections. What is your opinion about the likelihood of this happening?
No, elections, you know, I mean, definitely nobody can predict. But this is a fact that if Bengal election is won by BJP, it would be a big setback to opposition and even to the democracy, I say. Because in any democracy, there has to be a strong opposition, purposeful opposition. But if opposition is totally demolished, either through electorate or through EVM, that would be a sad day. Democracy, we need to have people who can oppose few things, support good policy. Again, opposition, I do not mean opposition should always be constructive opposition. A good democracy should have constructive opposition where they say, oh, Modi, you have done good here, I support you. So you have done bad this, I'll oppose you. That much, that's the opposition should have, and the strength of opposition is very important. So therefore, the election in these states, especially Bengal, I say, is very, very important. Let's see, let's hope. 2nd May, it would be clear.
Around the corner. Thank you, Shokji. I think this is more like a comment from Mohan Varakanu, and he says they have EVM fraud work, which they continuously doing. So that's why they're not worried about the people, and they can win and they can buy any MLAs. Yeah, I guess we are aware of that, and he's right.
I mean, that's a very sad commentary. Mohan, you are a good soul. I mean, I like your comments. It's a sad commentary that today they say that MLAs are cheaper than tomatoes. You can buy MLAs like.
Well, thank you, Mohan, and thank you, Shokji, for your comment. If there's anybody else who have got any last question before we wrap up, please raise your hand. Otherwise, we will wrap up. We've got Sakripal Singh ji who wants to make a comment. Please unmute. Sakripal Singh ji.
Anji Ashok ji, loved your presentation and thanks for that. मेरा सिर्फ एक छोटा जैसा सवाल है ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ कि you are all day, you know, spending your time amongst the very, very educated society, ours. So what kind of divide do you see over there on this issue as far as people in support of the BJP government, the kind of things they're doing, and the ones who have a different opinion? So please let us know, because we know what is the kind of situation is amongst the general public, but I always curious, you know, how does the higher level educated people think in a majority? Are they really also afraid of the BJP and compromising all of their conscience? Thanks.
First of all, sir, I thank you very much for appreciating. And I mean, now you have understood that I know nothing but few couplets. So first, let me reply to or answer to your compliments for me, because I have not learned of any better phrase of saying that I am nothing. My guru taught me that if anybody praises you, you must say, sir, I am nothing, it is all your appreciation. So I must say that I am nothing, it is all your appreciation. And the poet says it in a different way, कि उनके करम है, उनकी मोहब्बत, क्या मेरे नगमे, क्या मेरी हस्ती. So I am nothing. Number one, I say in reply to your compliment. And second, I say when you say what people are thinking, so there are two types of, or rather three types of persons, people all over the world, I say. One are those who are blind followers. We say Andhbhakt. So Andhbhakt were there even at the time of Mahatma Gandhi. You all know that majority had approved Sardar Patel as the future Prime Minister. But Andhbhakt or blind followers of Mahatma Gandhi, and Mahatma Gandhi also was guilty of that, they chose somebody else. So it has been going on since ages that we have Andhbhakt or blind followers, whether it is Mahatma Gandhi or whosoever came in power till date. So they would only support the king as per them. Then there is another class which is in majority, which is totally silent. That is why Churchill said that society is suffering because of silence of good people. So those good people, I even don't call them good people, I call them cowards. Good is not one who does not stab, who does not abuse or does not cheat. Somebody who is not stabbing, not cheating, not abusing is not a criminal. But he's not a good man. No. Good man, as per Vivekananda, is one who thinks of poor. And then there is a third class of people like Kirpal Singh Ji, Ashok Arora, Kavneet, Dr. Karpiyal. I mean, those who think that, okay, let me speak my mind, which again is minuscule. That is why society is suffering. So, but we are to continue our efforts, even if we are few on this discussion gathering, and it makes effect. I'm very sure our effort, Kirpalji, would never go waste. As they say, Kareda te Bhagwan bhi nahi rakhta. God also, or the society, or the nature, whatever name you may give it, would always reward the good doings. That is my end. We have to continue our efforts. Karenge majboor sitam taakat jahan tak hai, which means that we have to continue our efforts. And that is what we love about us. As they say, first love yourself. If I don't love myself or my doings, how can I help others? So I'm very happy to be amongst all of you, and it has been a privilege. Thank you, Kavneet, everybody, especially my guru, friend, philosopher, guide, Dr. Kirpal, Vice Chancellor of Agriculture University. And we'll be in touch. Let's hope for the best.
Thank you, Ashok Arora, that you've been very kind with your time and gracious. And I think the audience has really thoroughly enjoyed your talk, and I want to thank the audience for their time and participation. So thanks to everyone once again. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Please stay well.
Thank you. Thank you.